Well, the Olympics have not put a stop to the political turmoil that's engulfed Brazil. The Senate is due to vote today on whether to impeach the former president Dilma Rousseff. They're expected to vote to remove her from office permanently, bringing her 13 years in charge to an end. Well, Anelise Borges is in Rio and joins us now live. So, Anelise, just tell us some more about this Senate vote. Is it likely to pass?
The session is expected to begin any moment now. Brazil's senators are expected to vote on the impeachment procedure against suspended President Dilma Rousseff. The idea here is that the Senate commissioned a report from one of the senators, and that report concluded that Dilma Rousseff is guilty of at least 5 crimes of responsibility. She is accused of breaking budgetary laws in her re-election campaign. Dilma Rousseff has repeatedly denied any wrongdoing, but she is expected to be formally impeached by the end of this month in another vote. So once this first vote today passes, there will be another vote, the trial per se, and that is when Dilma Rousseff is expected to be formally impeached, putting an end to 13 years of rule by the Workers' Party.
And Annalise, this really does expose the fracture there in Brazilian politics, doesn't it? Because of course, when Michel Temer came in, there was a slight economic bounce as businesses were happy with the policies that may come from someone like that. Now, are the people you've been speaking to very angry about the amount of money that's been spent on the Olympics and the Games when there's so much uncertainty politically?
Absolutely. There have been many protests organized here in Rio de Janeiro and in other cities in Brazil. People saying that they're not exactly angry at the event itself. They do acknowledge that when Rio de Janeiro won the rights to host the Olympic Games back in 2009, Brazil was a different country. It enjoyed a booming economy, a political stability. Few here can remember. Brazil was then a rising star, and now it has practically crashed. What we're talking about here is the worst recession in a generation, rising inflation and unemployment. So people have questioned the ability of Brazil to actually sustain an event such as the Olympics. They say that the $12 billion that Rio de Janeiro has reportedly spent on this event should have been invested in other areas, such as transport, public education, and healthcare. Also, some of the protests are telling us that they believe these games were organized for the elites. Tickets are extremely expensive, and the events were also organized at the expense of Brazilian poor communities. Hundreds of families here in Rio de Janeiro were displaced so that Olympic facilities, stadiums, arenas could be built. Some of these families say they've never received compensation for their losses, and they are questioning whether or not Brazil should be hosting such an event in times of uncertainty and political instability.
Absolutely. Well, Annalise, for now in Rio, thank you.